Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm going to try to answer and give some input from my experience with mobile homes as rentals. Um, to start off with, I think there are three reasons why most people do not consider a mobile home for a rental. One is the fact that they are not particularly flattering. The house itself isn't something you would brag about or necessarily wake up feeling extremely good about that you own a mobile home as a rental. It's just not that particularly flattering. And I think the other one is the lot rent. Mobile homes almost always, not always, but almost always, are on lots that you have to rent. And unlike a conventional home, you will potentially be paying that lot rent forever. When with a conventional home, you would at least at the end of a 30-year mortgage own the land and the home, and you're going to be paid in taxes, but not a lot else besides upkeep. But with a rental mobile home, you will be paying lot rent forever. And I think the third reason is the fact that they are not often built as well as a conventional home. The standards for them are much lower, and the standards are lower because they want the cost down. They want this to be something that lower income people can afford. If they have too many regulations and law, the cost is going to go up and it's going to be counterproductive. But especially after I think 1976, the laws and regulations are extremely lax and the quality is low. And I think those are all things to consider. If those values are something that are going to deter you um, from purchasing a mobile home as a rental, then consider them and decide that. I myself have two rentals. Excuse me. Um, and I purchased them because I was looking at it, obviously differently than those three. Those three were not deterrents to me. I was basically looking at it as return on investment and trying to decide with the time and money I had, where could I put things that would give me the best return. And I think mobile homes can be unusually appealing as someone looking for return on investment. Um, uh, uh, One of my mobile homes paid itself off in 2 years. That is a 50% return on investment, which is hard to beat without gambling. And that is not completely unreasonable. I think that is hard, but not completely unreasonable. Um, and yeah, I mean, it depends on a lot of things, like how much work you want to put into something. I put a lot of my manual labor in to purchase something that wasn't in the best order for a very low price. Um, with the time that I put into it, a lot of the what I put in wasn't money; it was time, and that's partly why it paid itself off in 2 years. But uh, the other one's probably going to take about three, a little bit over three, which would still be a 33% return on investment per year. Um, and that is not unreasonable. I think when looking at mobile homes, you should look at it, if return on investment is your goal, you should look at it just looking at the numbers. How much are mobile homes like this in this park um, renting for, and how much does it cost, and how much work does it, money and time do I think I'm going to put into work, and is it worth it? And I think mobile homes can be especially appealing to someone that is trying to generate an income that may not be able to afford a multifamily home or a single family home to rent out. They just simply cost a lot less. And then, of course, to say, if you're paying $10,000 for a mobile home and you pay it, I mean, you're to have a 50% net income or 50% yearly return on investment of $5,000, you got to realize that's only $5,000 a year. And that's another thing. Like, they're just less expensive. The money you get in is lower. And there's a lot of other things you can do to, or there's, I guess I'll move on to something else. Just as something else to consider is there's two common ways of renting out mobile homes. One is renting it out, and with, of course, renting it comes with all of the responsibilities of being a landlord, um, or finding a rental agency or something like that. Where if something breaks, you, one way or another, are generally paying for it, and you have a lot more responsibilities. The other way is selling it, with something like rent to own. And this is not something I have done, and I will explain why. But rent to own is, I think, an appealing and an option to consider um, when renting mobile homes. And I say renting loosely, obviously, um, uh, because someone is renting it to own it. So it is a clear difference than just renting in the way most people think. But basically, the cool thing about rent to own is you generally the way that works, just roughly, is you would say, for sale, mobile home, uh, $2,000 down, this much a month, you'll own it in 5 years. That is roughly what it would look like. And you get more money up front. There's a chance that you could have with the, I mean, you're probably going to it's a lot easier to have the amount paid off in 2 years, or even less, potentially. Like, even less, you could have the whole thing paid off in a year. Because you have that extra couple $1,000s up front as a down payment on it, and you're getting the income. But on top of that, when you do rent to own, you also, shoot, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, very important thing. You also do not have to fix stuff. It is their home. There's a contract in place, and if they break it, it's your home. But up until then, it's theirs. If the toilet breaks, they fix it. It is completely, it is as if you are a mortgage. They are paying you just like they paid you a down payment. They're paying monthly payments to you. Most times they would also take over the lot payments, so you don't even have to do that. There's pretty much, I don't know. It's the cool thing. The strategy oftentimes with rent to own versus just renting and holding forever are that you can potentially rent to own many mobile homes at once, because once you find a tenant, your work is pretty much done. Um, and you can move on to many at once. I don't do that because, in a certain sense, um, they get a bigger payoff up front. They get they go through a little bit of work in the start, and then you would get, as a rent to own, you would get more money up front in that, but it won't last forever. So I would rather have a smaller payment, take a little bit longer to pay off my initial investment, and then have $300 a month or whatever for potentially forever, and then plan a couple weeks in the summer to look it over and check things out. But that to me is more appealing. That's the route I've gone. But but I think both are very viable options, and depending on um, someone's personal goals, and one way may work better. But uh, yeah. So basically, I think mobile homes, partially because of those three things that I said to start, why people are deterred from them. The appearance are just not glamorous things, not something you would brag about, show your friends your awesome rental mobile home. And the lot rent, and they're just not made as well, are actually reasons why they might be a better investment. Because there's just less demand. This is not something people dream about and work towards generally. So it makes it easier to work towards an own. So yeah, those are my basic thoughts on purchasing a mobile home for a rental. One thing I did want to talk about or mention here is that there's a wide range that someone could pay for a mobile home, and just remember what the goal is when they're looking at this. If it's a net income, um, look at the numbers. Look at how much this is renting for in that particular park, and you know that will help you decide if it is really worth it or not. You can purchase mobile homes for free. I mean, you can purchase them for extremely low amounts. Sometimes people just want them out of the park. They want them off. They've been sitting somewhere. A lot of times the free ones do come with work. Um, but you can purchase mobile homes for quite a low cost, and for the right person, that can be a great in to a more passive income. and I don't think that they're something to just automatically overlook. Um, they're worth considering for the right person for sure. Yeah. So thanks for watching this, and hope you have a great day.